Well, today marks 5 years on since the first earthquake that woke up Canterbury, where the quakes changed many lives in the region forever. Luckily, on that day, no one died. But the memories of the damage and destruction live on. Residents of this region will remember the day half a decade ago and reflect, but also acknowledge just how far we've all come. Early this morning, a dawn service was held at New Brighton to reflect on the past, and one of the most affected areas in the Waimakariri district shares their challenges of hope for the future. And the east of Christchurch, a group over there, continues to try its very best to stay positive. Our reporter Jared McCulloch rounds up today in Canterbury, our history.
A day to remember. About 200 people gathered on the shores of New Brighton Beach to remember the first of the big shakes to hit the region. The dawn ceremony looked back on this day 5 years ago, as well as looking forward as the city continues to rebuild. A special gathering for reflection.
5 years, it's a big milestone for us in our lives. Nobody's been left unchanged by this. I'm certainly not the same person I was 5 years ago. We've been on one hell of a journey, really. But yeah, it was good to have the sun rising in the background, and it makes you feel like, you know, it's a new day, and we've got some hope ahead of us.
The ceremony was attended by Mayor Leanne Dalzell and Associate Earthquake Recovery Minister Nikki Wagner, both Waimakariri and Selwyn mayors, looking back on the impact the quakes had on all the communities.
And there was just nothing where, you know, people could just come along, you know, and anyone could come along that wanted to. And so we thought, well, why not go to the beach and watch the sunrise and see a new day?
The September 2010 earthquake struck at 4:35 a.m. The epicentre was in Darfield, a shallow one of just 10 kilometres. There was no loss of life. Also present were the men and women from the New Zealand response team.
Very interesting. It was very, good community spirit around here.
He says today is a time for his team to look back at what they've achieved.
We know a lot more about what goes on now and how things are supposed to work and how to help people than we were last time. So it's a good learning experience for us.
Although this one was the most shocking for me, you know, the wake-up call as it were, I was out here in New Brighton when the February 22nd earthquake hit, and but of course, you know, I think the 5th anniversary of that earthquake is going to be very, very, very hard for a lot of people.
After the proceedings, those watched on as the sun rose from the east, beginning another day. And another day of recovery, 5 years on. Today, north of Christchurch, it was also a day to remember as the rebuild continues.
So there's been a lot of rebuilding going on, and it's been a hard time, but on the other hand, it's a time when our council has tried to, and our business community has tried to say, well, okay, we've got an opportunity here, let's come back and have it better than it was before.
The September earthquake saw much damage to the townships in the area. Like many areas around Canterbury, the rebuild is an ongoing process.
I think our major building projects are still in the two town centres in Kapua and Rangiora. There's still some work to be done there, but that's all programmed. Another thing is the Kapua Wharf area. That's still not finally nailed down, but it's we're working on that. The biggest unknown is the residential red zones.
But he says they've come a long way in 5 years. The next 5 will tell.
Well, I think it's pretty exciting, actually. The towns are in the process of changing, and they're going to look very different in a couple of years' time. And I think they're going to be great places to shop, and they'll become destinations in themselves.
Back over in the east, the Wainoni Avonside Community Services Trust paid tribute to the 5 years through song.
The insurers cry, oh my, oh my, deep in the heart of Christchurch.
Christchurch East, as you know, was hit extremely hard. The lives were upturned, really, and people are still going through the rebuild issues.
The event started off with a parade, giving a timeline of the struggles these residents have been through since the September earthquake.
The purpose of the last 5 anniversaries we have had is to give people new memories for the day, rather than that frightening awakening we had on 5 years ago. So yeah, just new memories, and people say, and I've heard them go home and say, oh wow, that was good. I got new memories for today, and if we've done that, that's the job done here.
It was also a reflection of what the members had learnt over the past 5 years, dealing with a natural disaster and the ongoing effects.
Yeah, they have. They've learnt a lot about land issues. They've learnt a lot about building, But some of these ladies, I work with predominantly women here on their own, widows, so that's the first time they've actually had to go into the field of rebuilding their home.
And Chapman remains positive.
Hopefully at the end of 2016 we're all re-established in our homes again in the east.